What's going on, YouTube? Super Insane 18 here, and we are here with D-Time TCG. Make sure you sub to him. Really good hero player, best there is.
Yep, we're here with my man Alex on the Super
Insane 18.
Super Insane 18. Go subscribe to my man.
And we are here with Luis. He just went undefeated. He was my only loss. What did you play?
I played Dragunity.
All right, and I mean, that's just crazy in and of itself. Go ahead and show us the build.
I mean, it's just Dragon League, but more synchro-y. So you play 4 like real normal summons in the deck. 3 really, but these are all the Winged Beast level 4s in Dragunity. Xanatus, discard a Dragunity to equip a Dragunity from deck. You rarely do his effect because it's Ash Bait and it's really hard to go neg with him because the deck already has to discard so much. Legatus is part of your standard combo. You special him if you control Ravine. It has an extra effect to pop a spell and trap if you control Dragunity. Never comes up, really. Ducks, normal summon, equip a Dragunity Tuner from Grave, level 3 or lower. That's part of most combos. It lets you play the game after you get like nibbed or anything. You also play Zephyros, part of like essentially every essential combo you can play. This is, if I could play like 3 of this, I would, but I don't have space. And then for tuners, you play triple Remus, you play double House, sorry. You play double Phalanx. You play 1 Geese Arm, and then you play 1 Miss Valley Baby Rock. And then the reason you play this, so Remus is like the most important part of the deck. You play 9 copies of this. You want to play 5. You play 5 copies of this because you're trying to make Ravine as much as you want, as much as you can. Cows is important and Phalanx are important because they can infinitely summon themselves when they're equipped, just as long as you can re-equip them. Geese Arm is important because because of this card, you can activate Dragunity Whirlwind, a card I'll show you later, and then immediately synchro summon into a Black Rose Dragon and then blow up someone's board. And it comes up literally every time that you play Whirlwind. And then Baby Rock. The main combo piece in the deck is essentially like an Armageddonite, but you have to, it adds the card to hand and then sends it to grave. Because it sends from hand to grave, this triggers Baby Rock and it lets you like make very quick like Crystal Wing. And it's just also like an extender. Then you play triple Revolution Dragon with a Darkworm package. You don't actually really use his effect for the discard to add Darkworm. It comes up, but like that's not actually the reason you want to play him. The reason is because so this deck focuses on the synchro aspect of like Dragon League, for example. And so what you do is more often than not is put it in scale to revive a synchro, and the main combo piece for the deck is a synchro. So, and there's no restrictions or anything. This can be used as many times as you want, so you can activate all 3 in a turn. You play Chaos Ruler, and you can mill this off of Chaos Ruler. That's why I play 3 now. I used to play only 2, and then at the last minute I decided to play 3 today, because I was like, okay, if I mill it, I literally just can't lose the game almost. And then Darkworm, you play it because it adds you this, and in certain combos you have to grant another card for Ravine. Otherwise you just can't activate, you can't use Ravine. Following that, we have just random dragons that you play. You play a Samsara Dragon, a Quackimera Drago, a Tempest, a Red Med, and then 2 Dragunity monsters. You play Samsara Dragon. This is like the weirdest part of the deck. But so the way this card works is the monster that you can constantly add and discard its Armageddon. This sends it to grave, and then when it's in grave, you can banish it to add a level 5 or higher dragon from grave, and then immediately tribute summon it. And what you do in a combo is essentially you make a Seals, a hieratic Seals, and then tribute over it, and that triggers its effect. And then you use this monster to tribute summon over it. It equips a Dragunity Tuner from grave that you can special summon, and then you get the Seals trigger and it summons any dragon from deck. And this enables all of that. So it lets you basically play like without guard like when guard dragons existed, but you don't need the guard dragons. You play Drago. This you can summon off Seals and win the game because you also play a Hope Harbinger, and your opponent has to like beat it. And then a lot of decks, like a lot of times today, I just opened it and I would go normal summon. You don't have to use your normal summon in the deck. Your opponent can't gamma you, they can't nib you, and then like they just have to deal with a 1900 stick that they can't beat over normally. Like Vespia can't beat over it, I'm pretty sure. They only have a Looper, which is 18. Then you play Red Med, he's part of the combo. Sad that he's been rotted, but he's still fucking good. Super fucking good. You play Tempest. This is another copy of Remus because like this is the most important card in the deck. You want it because it's also an extender. And this discarding any wind searches this as well, and then that gets you to Ravine. And then you play Armagram. I didn't want to play him, but like he's kind of mandatory in my opinion because he lets you win games you shouldn't be winning because he's just a dragon ruler, and like you'll often just summon both of these and then continue playing the game. Force your opponent has to deal with the giant beaters, and they can't a lot of times. And then for hand traps, triple gamma. In this deck, it's just free chaos ruler because you play so many cards that just let you, like your opponent, if you discard Remus, your opponent responds, you get to gamma them. If your opponent shifters, I'm looking at you, you can't, I fucking gamma you and I make ruler on my turn, which is wild. If your opponent tries to Ash Ravine or Ogre it, you summon gamma. Just, it's so broken. You play triple nib, I do at least. It's just meta calls for locals, really. You play triple Ash. What else? And then you play one Dragunity Glow, double Whirlwind. I'd play 3 of this if I could, I just don't have a third one. And then Gold Sark and Terraforming. This is essentially a copy of Ravine because it banishes Tempest. Tempest adds Ramus. Ramus discards to add Ravine. You play Terraforming as well. And Dragon Ravine. This has a second effect that no one knows. It doesn't just set dragons to grave, it adds Dragunities that are level 4 or lower to hand. So it's only like a -1, but it's still really fucking busted. Low searches a level 5 or higher Dragunity, so one of the 2 dragons I showed you. And it's and it can also add them from grave. So if you have to discard like Mistleton for effect, or for like Ravine to combo, you can add it back later in combo. And then this is like the best card in the deck. I wish I could play 3 of it. If your opponent controls a monster, you special a Winged Beast Dragunity and a Dragon Dragunity from deck, and then so that lets you summon any. And then if your opponent controls an extra deck monster, you can summon any Dragon Synchro from deck and you're Dragon locked, but you don't give a shit because all you play is dragons. And then this summons Black Rose, Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. It summons your combo pieces, anything basically that you need to win the game. And a couple. That's the main deck.
All right, let's see the extra.
You play a Romulus, part of combo. You don't search Ravine like other decks. You search Glow, the one spell that I showed you. You play double Hieratic Sphere. You trigger one of them on your turn as part of an effect because you tribute summon over one, and you don't go neg. Like you actually just plus off of that. And then you also end on spheres as well for your combo. You don't have to, but like you almost certainly do. Xyz, you play Hieratic Dragon Team of a ton. This, just like this card, summons from the extra deck, or from the main deck. So this normally summons Red Med. And this is the only deck that plays this card because it summons the level 6 Synchro that you're going to see in a second, and the level 6 that's in the main deck. And then they make this. And then Hope Harbinger is just, if you have enough resources to like make Chaos Ruler and continue to win the game, you make it. I also made it like on a meta call because you can make it with Crystal Wing, and sometimes that actually is better than Crystal Wing if you like just feel like it was right. And then 2 level 6s, you summon there's Vajrayana and Gator. This is the card that's essentially Armageddon Knight. It adds a Winged Beast or Dragon from deck to hand and then sends one from hand. And so like essentially you just go add, send, add, send, add, send. This resolves like 4 or 5 times in a turn. And if you open up like Revolutions, you do it even more. The best card in the deck. If this deck was ever like relevant, this is like the way to hit the deck. You play 2 level 7s for Whirlwind. Clear Wing for like if you're playing into Scythe and you don't want to plop their board with Black Rose to lose the game. You make a Clear Wing. Like you can do it on their Wonder Magician or on their Scythe if you have to. And then Black Rose just blows up every board. And it came up multiple times. It wins you multiple games. And like if you open and if your opponent has responses to it, like it's really hard. Also, yeah, just it's really good. And then level 8s, Boral Savage, same reason as Dragon Link, Crystal Wing, same reason as any reason that could make Crystal Wing would make it. You play Chaos Ruler and you play Barca. This card is really good in this deck. You want to usually use it late if you make if you get a Gamma off in your early on your turn because like your opponent tries to respond to you. It's just busted because you can wait a very long time until you have all the resources you need in your hand and the ones in the grave, and then mill 5, and then you increase your chances of hitting Revolution, which lets you just combo even further. And then Barca, it's really weird to make, but like when you make it, it equips as many like Dragunities from grave, and so you just equip as many Dragunity tuners as you want. You don't actually have to do it in most combos nowadays, but it's such a good card anyways, and then like it lets you extend really well into like making your full board that includes like this. And then these 2 together are usually what makes Hope Harbinger. And then the last 2 cards, are Ascalon and a Rebear. So a Rebear is a Crystal Wing, but it negates and banishes. If it kills a monster by battle, it banishes it. And if it's if it's sent to grave by an opponent's card, it Harpy's Feather Duster them. And then this is Ascalon. This can banish as many number of Dragunities as you want from grave. It doesn't matter how many, as many times as you want. It's like Dad, and then you just banish a card on the monsters on the board. So if your opponent has a full board that you have to go through, you make Ascalon, banish a monster, banish a monster, banish a monster, because you have such a large supply of Dragunities in grave, and that's the extra.
Did you want to show the side, or it's up to you if you want to show the side?
The side's just like local medical.
Okay, I mean,
Chill. Triple Droll. It's also a wind, which comes up for Dragon, for Tempest and for Armagram. It's just nice. Actually, it doesn't come up for Armagram. Never mind. You have triple Phantasme, just because I feel like Dragon Link is like a thing that I have to acknowledge. Triple Twin, double Cosmic, and Red Reboot, because people play spells and traps, and this wins you games. Especially if your opponent draws Whirlwind, like my opponent, Super Insane, in Game 3, and you activate Whirlwind, and then your opponent has a response, like to negate it or just to stop you, and then you activate Red Reboot, your opponent has to set something, or if they haven't seen what you do with Whirlwind yet, they set something and then you go Black Rose and blow up their board, and then their set is also gone. That happened, and then these are just removal, and then double anti-spell and double D-Barrier. So these barriers are kind of a conundrum in the deck. I'd rather play 3 anti-spell if I had them. D-Barrier is weird in your deck because if you have Synchros on board and like you're playing Sword Soul, it's really awkward. Like you don't know when exactly to like D-Barrier them, and you like just don't want to lose to that shit. But it shits on Despia. That deck's not a problem with this deck. With this card, so.
All right, I mean, it looks pretty solid. You went undefeated. Do you have any shout-outs?
Phoenix Flare X, the best Dragunity player of all time, as far as I'm concerned. He has a Discord. Who do I have to thank? I also have to thank Alex, Shapiro, and Lance, and Nick. They all give me Dragon Link cards, and also Chad, because he got me Dragunity cards. This deck's just like supposed to be an alternative to Dragon Link, in my opinion. It's the reason people don't play it, as far as I'm concerned, is just it's really hard. There's multiple times like where I practice this outside of locals, and I just would. The Dragunity tuners all have certain restrictions where you can't use them except for Dragunity monsters. So if I tried to make like a Boral Savage, or if I tried to make a Boral Savage, or I tried to make like a Clear Wing or anything like that, I just lose because I can't. And yeah, that's the deck.
All right, well, you guys saw it here first, the undefeated Dragunity, not Dragon Link, I almost said, deck profile. If you want to see our match, it'll probably be up on the channel in a couple of days anyway. He was my only loss today, so you guys know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Again, check out D-Time, really good hero player. But thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.